Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to go over oil pastels, okay? So what you're going to need for this, um, for this practice, okay, is you're going to need something to write with. I'm okay with you having pen or a pencil, okay? And you're going to need, it's not the most prettiest thing here, but you're going to need, actually, let's see if I can zoom out a little bit more so you can really get this, see what this looks like. Okay, it's a box of oil pastels. In there, you should find not little pieces of paper, okay, but a palette knife. All right, and I'm going to explain to you what that is for in a little bit, and a mixture of different oil pastels. You also need a paper towel, all right? Okay, so let's take this and put this to the side. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to put your name on your paper, okay? Because my children, when they were little, they would have the saying, name on the paper first thing. Yeah, now it's stuck in your head too. All right, please put your name on because you're going to need to hand this in and you need credit for this. All right, so we're going to copy the statements, meaning that we're going to write what is up there, okay? Sometimes what you need to do is, in order to remember something, is read it, see it, and then copy it, okay? It says to clean an oil pastel, you must use a paper towel. I'm going to explain to you and show you how that works. So see how these are? They're really dirty. We don't ever scrape them, never, because what happens is you waste a lot of it. What you do is you twist it back and forth, right? And notice how it comes off. That's how you clean it. All right. So everyone take a moment and we're going to write that. To clean an oil pastel, you must use a paper towel. Ooh, I write big. All right. Do not scrape an oil pastel with a palette knife. All right. So this is a palette knife. You never scrape it. Okay. We don't make them into points. We don't scrape them because what happens is that you will waste an enormous amount of oil pastels. So let's write that down. Do not scrape an oil pastel. Now, by the way, I know I talk a little fast. So you have two options. You can pause, or if you go into the settings, you can make it a little slower with a palette knife. Oh, forgot to put the space in there. Period. Always clean up your area after using oil pastels because they can be messy. All right. So you're going to notice underneath on the table around you, that it can get really messy. All right. It is your responsibility to clean up after yourself. All right. That means you might have to go and get one of the blue towels and wash down that section. All right. So let's go ahead and copy that. Clean up your area after using oil pastels because they can be messy. All right, beautiful. If you mess up, you can scrape the oil pastel away and start again. All right. So this is one trick. All right. So you don't have to do this. I'm just going to show you. So what happens is oil pastels are really thick. Okay. They first stain the paper. Then they add layers on top of it. Okay. So what you can do is, in order to fix something, you can go in and scrape off, okay, the oil pastel. So I'm going to scrape it off, clean it off here, okay, scrape, take it off, okay, and then I can go in with another oil pastel. You know what? I'm going to put yellow because yellow would be lighter than orange. I got to clean it up. Sorry. Okay. And it's going to mix a little bit, but at least it's a pure yellow that you can actually have. And it's not going to mix. All right. See how that kind of works? Okay. So let's write that one down. Okay. Here we go. If you mess up, you can scrape oil pastel away and start again. Makes sense. Last one. All right, this one will save you. All right. It says always place a paper towel over your oil pastel drawing so it doesn't mess up other work. Okay, so when you have stuff there, ready? I'm going to grab a post-it note because I want to show you what happens. Actually, I realized I just grabbed a yellow post-it note. It's not going to work out. There it is. If you have something over it and if it accidentally rubs, see what happens? I know it's hard to see, but there's oil pastel on this paper. Okay, so I'm okay with you guys taking this, just kind of leave it on. It creates a buffer so that it doesn't mess up something else. All right, there we are. So let's write that. This is a long one, guys. Over your oil pastel drawing so it doesn't mess up other work. Beautiful. All right, so we kind of went over some ground rules, which is good. All right, these will definitely help you, later when you're doing your oil pastels. All right, so take your writing utensil item, place it away. You now need these. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is, I'm okay with you choosing any color for this practice. Any of them fine. The only time that, we got to be picky is when we're actually talking about a certain color. All right, so I'm going to pick that orange because I cleaned that orange. All right, and here we go. So first thing, applying color. How can we apply color? So first one is light pressure. So there are times when you might have to apply some oil pastels, and what you do is you apply it lightly. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about if you have to apply something lightly. So let's do that again, because practice makes better, right? That's what a light pressure would be. Heavy pressure, layered. When we work with oil pastels, I know this is a technique that some people use it, but when I want you to finish oil pastel, like have a finished look, the finished look that I'm looking for is heavy, okay? I want to be able to see the oil pastel. And how I did that was I colored back and forth. Sometimes I might need to go in a different direction to really fill it in, okay? Actually, you know what? Hold on. I'm going to grab an example because I have an example of something that I've done. Oil pastels are my jam, people, okay? So here, all of this is really thickly applied, okay? That's how we kind of do oil pastels, all right? So kind of put it on heavy. It's not scraped off, all right? It's just applied thick. Perfect. Whew, that was good. Sample. So let's do this again. Nice and thick. Try to keep it in the lines. Oil pastels are kind of art material, art medium, okay, where you don't do a lot of small details. It's just really hard to do small details, all right? Small details, here, I'll bring my example, okay? In here, as you can see, it's tough to go into some of these small spaces, okay? So we do the best we can. Like here, this little twist here, all right? Hard to really tell that. So I kind of just put one line, kind of indicate it, okay? All right, let's go to the next one. Sgraffito. All right, grab out that palette knife. This is a really cool technique, all right? So there are a couple ways that you can do texture. Texture can be done with drawing it, okay? So we know you can draw different textures. Another way is actually to scrape in a texture. So I'm gonna do, let's make it look like it's rough, like it's like fabric. So I'm gonna do some kind of like cross hatching. So the cool thing is that when you do sgraffito, you kind of see the bottom color, okay? So if you wanted to have like a bottom color, so watch, check this out. So up here, you know how we scraped the purple off? I mean, not the purple, I'm looking at purple, sorry. Purple. We put the orange down here first, and then I put yellow. So when I scrape it off, I'm kind of exposing a little bit of that orange underneath, which is kind of neat, okay? So that's what that is. It just adds texture. All right, so let's get into mixing. This is where I gotta see if you guys can remember your color mixing. So blue plus light blue. How do we make light blue? We first find a blue, okay? And in order to make a color light, we gotta add white. Good job. All right, so we're gonna make a light blue. All right, so when I mix, I sometimes will go back and forth like this. Sometimes I will go in and do little circles. You have to find the technique for yourself, okay? What works for me, works for me. What works for you, works for you, okay? And those are the two techniques. So I'm gonna first put my base layer on. Ooh, it's such a teeny little blue, all right? Put my base layer in. Then I'm going to go in with my white. Now, I could go back and forth. That might work. I might also do little circles. Kind of make it look creamy. You got to figure out what works for you. Okay, now I don't want like little rows. I want it to all kind of blend through. So I might need to, mix it through. Going back and forth is fine too. Here's another way. All right, see how I kind of like blend that all through? It's another way, okay? And sometimes you'll see me coloring in a different direction because you see how these are? Oh, let me see if I can zoom in. See those crumblies? Okay, that's excess oil pastel. If you get that, do me a favor, squish it down, smush it down, push it back down, okay? Because that belongs on your paper and not anywhere else. Oh, just love making light blue. All right, let's go on to yellow green. All right, fun yellow. Wow, I'm doing so well finding the teeny ones. All right, here we go. And it doesn't matter what color you have to put down. So I'm going to put my yellow. Oh my gosh, this is so teeny. Color it in. There we are. I'm going to go with my green. And I like to mix in circles, as you can see. Well, that's, as I said, personal preference. I'm going to go back in, and then I'm going to kind of blend it, going back and forth. Because that's how I kind of do it. All right, so we got a beautiful yellow-green. Got to smush down some of this excess. There we go. Beautiful. Red-purple. All right, people. We're zooming. Let's find our red. If you find one that says violet, doesn't really matter. It's all good. I'll put purple down first. You can put red down first. Completely up to you. Take my red. I am going to go in a different direction. Oh boy! Wow. So this is something I didn't expect. When I do this, it just feels very red. Sometimes you might have to go back with that original color and add a little bit more to really get it to mix. It happens sometimes. Now that's beautiful. All right, dark orange. Let's do it. How are we going to do dark orange? Good. We're going to get out the black. All right, here we go. I'm going to tell you something about the color black. The color black can overtake something very quickly. So remember that light pressure? We're going to start with this, and you're going to do very, very light pressure. Light pressure. Okay, and then you're going to go in with your color. Now see, it can take over. Now you could have done orange and then put your black on top. But with black, you kind of need to have that color be the one that actually mixes it together. Dude, this looks like a pumpkin color. I'm excited for pumpkin pie. I don't know why that just made me think of that pumpkin pie. Pumpkin muffins. Oh my gosh. It's all good. It's all good. All right, gotta smush down those little crumblies because they're trying to get away, and I need that on my actual paper and nowhere else. Beautiful. All right. So I'm going to stop the video here because I feel like sometimes it just needs to be able to say, hey, I got through the first video, or I got through 2 videos, and that's awesome. So the first side, as you can see, what we went over was we went over basic, instructions, and we went over basic ways of applying color and how to mix a color. All right. If you have not finished this, now is a good time to do that. Awesome. If you are done, you can go to the next video.